Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship. Warning, censorship.
Hi everybody, Ezra Levant here. How you doing? It's February 26th. I can't even believe that, it's basically March. Next time I speak to you, it will be March. It's not a leap year, no, it's 2021. Can you believe it? And I think that although the pandemic is basically defeated, the virus is defeated, it's in remission everywhere, the politicians are becoming more and more extreme as they grasp on to the power that they seized through these emergency declarations last year. They want to hold on to them no matter what. You know, I saw in Ontario, Canada's largest province, the medical officer talking about how things are just plunging, the rates are plunging, all the graphs are in free fall, and he said, oh, but the new variants are coming. And Theresa Tam had this chart, you may have seen it, where the graphs were plunging, but her model, it looked like the letter V. So what we knew was plunging, and then her model just went like that. I don't know if you can find that. Do you know the one I mean? And reporters who are not particularly skeptical creatures, not particularly curious creatures, most of them are on the government payroll, so they're quite obedient and have been cheerleaders in the past year rather than curious reporters, let alone investigators. Even they said, well, where do you get those numbers from? Where do you get that model from? And they were given no answer. So it's just absolute junk science. It's junk science to begin with. But what we've also learned in recent months, yeah, do you see that there? So the purple stuff there, and the actual line is the real line. But you see that orange thing that looks like a rocket ship took off? That's the model prediction. Look at that, what do they call it? New longer range forecast that includes variants of concern, indicates a strong resurgence unless we have stringent measures and strict adherence. So hey guys, it's absolutely falling like that purple blob there. It's absolutely plunging. There are now two entire hospitals for every one ICU patient in Ontario. So not 2 patients per hospital, not 20 patients per hospital. There are only a couple hundred people in the entire province of Ontario who need ICU, and there are 500 hospitals. It is gone, but they just said, no, it's about to go Shazam! How do you know? Well, I just know. No, you know that you want to hold on to power. Justin Trudeau, not the sharpest knife in the drawer, had some thoughts about these new variants. Now, the guy does a lot of marijuana, and he's, really not been himself since the October 2019 election result, which of course he did win, but he was chastened. He was stunned that he didn't get the majority he so richly thought he deserved. He was embarrassed by the blackface fiasco. I think Justin Trudeau lost his mojo in October 2019, and he never shaved his vacation beard. You might recall he went on an 18-day vacation? What world leader takes an 18-day vacation? But that's nothing. He's been on a 10-month staycation at Rideau Cottage. He doesn't go into work. So he's a little stunned. He's a little emotionally reclusive these days. He can put on a show for a few minutes just to screw together the energy, but then he goes and sulks and plays Sony PlayStation and searches for his name on Twitter. So he gave this little remark the other day, and I know this is just a malapropism. I know this is him just stumbling over his words, but still, it's sort of great. Take a look.
Obviously, we've taken significant measures to keep Canadians safe, particularly given the threat of these new variants that are being developed or that are emerging elsewhere around the world.
These new variants that are being developed. Whoops, I didn't mean to say that. No way. Well, actually, we don't know where the new variants come from, other than we know that viruses mutate. There's a new flu strain every year. But I don't think it's going to help that he says, hey guys, we've got new ones developed. I think that what we can say with great certainty is that we have new panics that we're developing based on these new variants. That is for sure. And I want to show you some protest footage that our videographer Mocha took the other day. And I don't think I saw this blatantly until, I don't think I saw this till yesterday, even though I think it was recorded maybe a week ago. There are some laws in some jurisdictions that ban gatherings. Do you know what a gathering is? It's very plain English. It's when you gather together. Gathering of 5 or more, a gathering of 10 or more, gathering of 30, 50, 150. The word gathering is not a term of art. It's exactly what it sounds like. So you can have some gatherings, like a religious gathering. A movie theater, a gym is a gathering. And one kind of gathering is a political protest. Now, some of these gatherings have special protection under our Constitution. There is no pandemic clause in the Constitution, by the way, that suspends it because someone says they have a cough. So the Constitution applies whether or not you're in a state of emergency. And so what I find incredible, and did we show this the other day, the church? We showed that Quebec story of, did we do that, or the churches have, yeah, we did, of only 10 people allowed in the church, but I think movie theaters can have, what, 250 or 150? That's a perfect example of the bizarre, whimsical, unscientific, and frankly bigoted manifestation. I don't know if you can dig that story up. It was in La Presse. Don't knock yourself out finding it. It was in French and whatever. But the news out of Quebec that we showed you, I think, on Monday, was that movie theaters can now open in Quebec. I think it's up to 250 people, but churches can still only have 10 people, including the most massive cathedrals. And if you know Quebec, you'll know that because they were historically quite a Catholic society, churches really are the center of so many of their cities. It was the center of public life for so long. Some of these cathedrals in Quebec are enormous. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if some of them can hold 1,000 people or more. They're staggering structures in the European tradition. And only 10 people are allowed in them. They're much larger than even an IMAX theater. So do you see what I mean? Gatherings are gatherings, and I think that law is obviously unconstitutional that says only 10 people in a church, but knock yourself out 50 people in a theater. But my point is, a gathering is a gathering. A gathering is not the same as a protest, because you can protest in a gathering, or you can protest by yourself. You can have a one-person protest. You can hold a sign. You can speak, and that is not a gathering. It could also be a gathering if you're doing it with a larger number of people that makes it illegal, but like I say, the Constitution protects freedom of assembly, freedom of association. So any cop that tried to shut down a political gathering would likely be breaking the law, namely our Charter of Rights. But if someone is by themselves, not part of a gathering, and speaking out against the government or against anything, that is not a gathering. Duh. And yet that is precisely what Toronto's out-of-control police were doing in this footage that our videographer Mocha caught. And he didn't just catch the footage. He caught the squawking of the Toronto police radio chatter. And I wouldn't mind playing this once or twice so we really, really hear it clearly. I'm going from memory here, there's a lady with a little megaphone, which is not illegal. That's not a gathering. And there's, I can't remember if it's a lady or a gentleman with a sign. I've watched so many videos, I'm sort of blurring them in my mind. So holding a sign is not a gathering. Holding a megaphone, or as David Menzies calls it, a megahorn. I love how he says megahorn. Whenever he says that, I think megahorn, it's like a character in Transformers, megahorn. That's not a gathering, right? One person in the sign is not a gathering. One person and a megahorn is not a gathering. But watch this video clip by Mocha watch what they do, and listen to the police chatter. Here, take a look.
Signs deploring communism are particularly offensive today. Oh my God! No, we don't have a free Russia! Russia! No, we don't have a free speech. You are arresting her for having this side. She's not 16 for me.
Listen, to all the people, disengage. Do not speak. You have the right to remain silent. Disengage. You have the right to remain silent. Turn around and walk away. Do not speak to them. You are committing assault. You invite. This is assault.
We're asking you to disperse from this area. Time to go home. The protest is over and done. Time to leave the area.
Heard that before.
Ma'am, what were these police officers telling you?
Telling me I can't use a megaphone. It's against the law. It's against the law. Can you believe it? And they're telling me that there's a stay-at-home order tonight to ask them, well, what about the other people doing other things? This is what I want to do. Oh my goodness, I don't understand why I'm being arrested. I don't understand it. All I was trying to do, it's on my heart. I even went to St. Michael's Cathedral to pray about this before I came here. All I wanted to do was let people know about this vaccine and the side effects. I've studied it in depth.
Every single day, I see the police murdering their own reputation. Every day. You heard in the very opening. Can we play the opening 20 seconds where we have that radio chatter? Just want to show it's transcribed with subtitles. Take a look one more time.
Signs deploring communism!
Arrest anyone with a megaphone or sign. That's what we heard on the radio. I wrote it down as quickly as I could, and then I arrest anyone with a megaphone or sign. But that is not. There you go. Thank you. Remove the identifiable leader and arrest anyone with a megaphone or sign. Anyone. And you saw one of the ladies who I think was arrested on more than one occasion. And I don't know why she was arrested, because it's not a crime. You know, when you get a parking ticket, that's a ticket, right? It's a ticket, and it's $50 or $100 or whatever it is. That you can't be put in handcuffs for that. You can't be arrested for that. This is not a crime. You can't be thrown in jail for that. You don't need bail for that. It's not a crime. A cop can give you a parking ticket, but that's not a crime. Why are they physically arresting, handcuffing, manhandling, and putting in the back of a police van a woman who is peacefully holding a sign about communism? Who peacefully is talking about vaccines? You can agree with her or not. I got to say, they're sort of proving the point about communism, aren't they? But how is that a violation of whatever laws there are against gatherings? And I'm setting aside the likely unconstitutionality of those anti-gathering laws anyways. Let's say, for the sake of argument, that those laws against gathering are lawful. You heard the cop. Arrest anyone with a megaphone or sign. But that is not a gathering. That is what a police state does. Arrest anyone who's criticizing the emperor. Arrest anyone who's criticizing the tyrant. Arrest anyone who's defying, disputing, disparaging, criticizing, dissenting from the dictator. Again and again and again, they do this every single weekend. I think the Toronto Police Service is the most disgraced police service in Canada. I wonder how long I can keep saying, it's just the brass, it's just the chief, it's just the leadership, when rank and file cops participate in it week after week after week. It gets harder and harder for me to say, that's just the chief, that's just the brass. Rank and file cops, they don't support this. Well, how many weekends in a row, because we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of this now, so, 5 years from now, will I still be saying, yeah, no, those are really the ones who are just following orders and arresting anyone with a megaphone or sign? They're good guys. They're just misunderstood. They don't like doing this. Really? How long does that excuse work for? I need to know, because that's what I'm hanging on to for dear life. All right, let's read some super chats here. Alan Plummer, $5. China has to have something huge on Trudeau for him to be so deep in their pocket. Cabianite as well. I don't know what that means. Go figure. Well, I've asked a number of people what they think the explanation is for Trudeau's subservience to China. And between my thinking and from people who have given me their advice, I've heard, well, he just genuinely is in love with communist dictatorships, whether that's Fidel Castro or China. And that comes to him naturally from his father, who was a big fan of the Soviets as well. I think there's a lot to it. I think he's what I think Peter Brimelow calls an alienist, the opposite of a nativist. A nativist is like a America first or a chauvinist for their own country, or someone who says, my country's better than anyone. It's a kind of patriotism, really. I mean, the word nativist comes from the root for being born there. I love where I was born. Where I was born is the best. Go Calgary Flames. No, I love where I was born. Go Edmonton Oilers. Like nativism, it's a way of saying some tribalism or where you're from. I think we're all a little bit nativist because we love where we're from. It's part of our identity. We love our families. We love ourselves. We love where we came from. So I think nativism is natural. You want to be open-minded to other people, but there is, I like the word alienist. You never hear it. It's someone who actually takes the side of others against where they're from. Often we hear that as globalist. During the Cold War, you saw people, particularly the CBC, for example, take the side of the Soviets against the West. The CBC was the worst for that. After 9/11, there was a very brief moment where the media permitted patriotism and nativism, and then it immediately swung the opposite way towards another form of alienism, whereas in the Cold War, the media party supported the Soviets. In 2001, after a short period of mourning, the media supported terrorists. And I know you're saying, no, they didn't. They didn't support terrorists. Yeah? I think Omar Khadr is a living, breathing example of the absolute celebrity status and $10.5 million paid to him and a public apology given to him by Trudeau. They absolutely love Islamic terrorism. So an alienist, maybe I shouldn't use that word because it's an unwieldy word. People don't use it a lot. I think Trudeau prefers countries other than his own. the latest proof of that would be he won't say that China is committing a genocide against the Uyghur ethnic minority. He won't say that. But he'll say Canada is committing a genocide or has committed a genocide against Aboriginal people. So he loves anyone better than he loves his own country. I think there's some truth to that, or at least some evidence pointing to it. I think a lot of people around him are pro-China for reasons of financial payoffs. China has all the dough. It has, what, $3 trillion in hard currency reserves, Western currency. It's got all the contracts. It's, and the Chinese know how to get to people. We see in the United States, Eric Swalwell, the representative in Congress, a serial prostitute spy can you call up Swalwell? He was famous for farting on national TV. I don't know if you remember that. Eric Swalwell, he was running for president. He never got more than 1%. And his most famous moment was he farted. I'm sorry, I don't mean to gross you out. I'm just telling you what he was famous for. Remember the fart guy? He farted on national TV and everyone made a lot of fun of him. I suppose that could happen to anyone, farting on national TV. And then he replaced that scandal with actually a real one. Can you show him and his People's Liberation Army spy girlfriend, Fang, F-A-N-G, I think it's pronounced Fong, it's not Fang. Just a picture of them, like there was a Chinese spy in California who basically went on dates. Click on that one in the top left there. That's Eric Swalwell, the farting guy. Yeah, just click on that. And that's his girlfriend. What's her name? Christine Fang. Fang is how you would say it in North America, but I think Fong or Fong. Democrat Eric Swalwell linked to spy suspect Christine Fang. She didn't just have sex with him. She dated half the young politicians. And can you type in Christine Fang and go and show, I want to show some of the other politicians she dated. There were some really funny jokes by Jesse Kelly, the U.S. pundit. Some of the politicians she dated were so physically repulsive. He would say, no one loves their country more than Christine Fang loves China because the things she would do. But she absolutely infiltrated half the young politicians in California. She just slept with them all. And incredibly, Eric Swalwell, the FBI contacted Swalwell and gave him sort of a defensive briefing saying, by the way, that your mistress is a Chinese spy. But he is completely compromised, obviously, but he's still allowed, I think he's on the House Intelligence Committee. How is that even possible? But I just would love to show a picture of Christine Fang with this super fat mayor. And when you've got a Chinese national who's really digging you, that guy in the top right there. Who's that Ohio mayor? Who's that guy in the top right there? When you're 300 pounds and you've got this hot young girlfriend, is it because you're an all-powerful mayor? Or is it maybe she's a Chinese spy doing what it takes to get influence, to get dirt on you, blackmail, extortion material? Even the very fact that she's sleeping with you is extortion material. Politicians of every stripe are as stupid as anyone else. And you're a 300-pound loser mayor who could never land a pretty girlfriend, and you suddenly have the prettiest girlfriend around. It's not because of your magnetic personality, mate. It's because she's a spy. And so I come back to the question posed by Alan Plummer. Does China have something huge on Justin Trudeau? I don't think the traditional honey trap of a sexual encounter with a Chinese spy, I don't think that that's what China has on Trudeau. I think Trudeau, unlike the 300-pound mayor, unlike Mr. Fart, Eric Swalwell, I think Trudeau can be successful with ladies. We know that when his charm doesn't work, he sexually assaults them. He did that to Rose Knight in Creston, BC. And then he just later on gave the frat boy excuse. Oh, well, she just experienced it differently. Come on, baby. You know that. That's what he said. So I don't think Trudeau needs a Chinese spy prostitute to have sex with him. I think that his weakness is greed and entitlement. And, pardon me? There we go. Bill Harrison is a former mayor of Fremont, California, with Chinese spy named Fang Fang, also known as Christine Fang. Yeah, Bill, America's hottest bachelor, America's sexiest mayors. I don't think she's into you because you're a hunk of burning love. I don't think being the mayor of Fremont, California is what's turning her crank. I think it's because she's a spy. Just a theory there, Bill. Just a theory there. So I don't think that that's the honey trap that got Justin Trudeau. I think it's money. He is a grifter. His mom is a grifter. His wife's a grifter. The whole damn family are grifters. And I say that by looking how they schnorr, that's a Yiddish word, how they schnorr money from everyone around them. How from the We Charity, how both Trudeau and his mom, Bill, including after he was an MP, would build charities, 10, 20, 30,000 bucks a pop to give speeches. How they wrung out the We Charities. How the Trudeau Foundation just started sloshing with foreign funds after Trudeau was elected leader. In my book, China Virus, I document how Chinese nationals who are not allowed to donate to political parties. There was one Chinese communist who donated a lot of money to build a statue of Pierre Trudeau in Montreal and donated here and donated there. So with Trudeau, it's so easy. Do you remember how Trudeau grifted his way onto Billionaire Island, that glorious private island in the Caribbean owned by the Aga Khan? With Trudeau, you're not going to get him by offering him sex like that obese mayor from Fremont, California. You're just not going to do that. Money. So he's a communist supporter. He's an alienist who despises his own country and loves foreign countries. He just echoes what his own father said and did. Just like his father was pro-Soviet during the Cold War, he's pro-Chinese now, just as he was pro-Omar Khadr, even though Canada was fighting Al-Qaeda. And I think it's just the raw cash. And it's everyone around him. So that's a very long answer to that question. Let's get back onto these super chats. Nathaniel, 247. Sorry, I couldn't give more. My bank is now zero. Well, Nathaniel, I appreciate your generosity, but if your bank is at zero, don't donate to Rebel News. I mean, I'm very grateful for the funds, and we use it for all sorts of purposes that you can see. We use it to hire journalists. We use it to hire civil liberties lawyers. So we do need the money, but we don't need the money more than you do. So I don't want to be ungracious in the face of your generosity, but if that is your last $2.47, don't give it to us. Vlad, 20 bucks, thank you. Vince, Access Geo, 10 bucks. From Statistics Canada, since 2010, the year-over-year mortality rate in Canada has increased from 0.6% to 5.2%. It has been random. In 2020, there was a 4.5% increase from 2019, nothing out of the ordinary. Okay, we have gone through, we used to go through those stats. We can do that again. I don't propose to do so right now. Remember when we went through that one that was really month by month and you could really isolate it? I don't even know how to find that StatsCan chart again. I don't want to put you, that would be a very hard thing to find quickly. But Vince, we have done that in previous shows. We can do that again one day. Another 20 bucks from Vlad, thank you. Love like Jesus, $5. Thanks very much. Viking Insane, $5. How long before hyperinflation kicks in and Canadian dollar becomes worthless? Everyone will become poor overnight. Don't think it won't happen here. Well, that's one of the reasons why I think cryptocurrency is having a renewed interest. I mean, crypto, including Bitcoin, spiked a couple years ago and then they sort of fell back. But I think that a combination of concerns about privacy and concerns about inflation is why people have a renewed interest in that. People say, well, what is a Bitcoin? And I got a little bit of Bitcoin and a little bit of Ethereum. And I try not to look at it too much because it's just, it's like a roller coaster. The question is it just pure speculation? Is it like the tulip mania in Holland several hundred years ago? Well, there is a lot of psychology to it, as there is with any market. But if you ask about the fundamentals of a currency like Bitcoin, are they possibly worse than the fundamentals of, say, the Canadian dollar or even the American dollar, which can be printed at will, devaluing the currency that everyone has? Are the fundamentals of the Canadian dollar stronger than the fundamentals of Bitcoin? I don't know the answer to that. I wouldn't pose as a master economist with deep knowledge of monetary policy. But do you really trust Justin Trudeau more than you trust the blockchain? Do you really think that he wouldn't take all your dough if he could? One of the reasons why Vancouver housing prices are so high, and it's happening in Toronto to a lesser extent, even though the housing prices are higher, is people from mainland China getting their money out of China. It's the same thing with Russians. They put their money in banks in Cyprus. Why would they do that? Because they just want to get the money out of Russia, out of China, get it away from the hands of the authorities there. That's why there's so many houses in Vancouver that are not occupied, or maybe occupied by kids whose parents are still back in mainland China. It's just get the money out of China, get it out of China, buy a house. What's the worst that can happen? You live in it. The house is a store of value. Russia pouring money into Cyprus. Now they can put their money into crypto because they're not particularly looking for a rate of return. They've already made their money. Now they want to protect it from Vladimir Putin or Xi Jinping. I mean, the richest man in China, Jack Ma, was kidnapped and arrested off the street because he said something that offended the dictator. So if he's the richest man in China, what was he worth, like $100 billion or something? He was the CEO of Ant, A-N-T, and he was Alibaba, I think was his also, or maybe I'm getting mixed up. If you are the richest man in China, and they can kidnap you and basically take your money if you want. If you're the richest man in Russia, Mikhail Khodorkovsky, who used to be the boss of Yukos, huge oil company, if they can literally storm your private jet, pull you out of it and throw you in prison for years, you can do that to anyone. That's the reason why would you arrest the richest man in China? Why would you arrest the richest man in Russia? Which is what happened in the case of Jack Ma and Mikhail Khodorkovsky, if I'm pronouncing his name right. You would do that to show everyone else, I took out the richest man. You don't think I won't come for the 10th richest man or the 100th richest man? I took out the guy worth 10, 20, 30, 40 billion dollars. You don't think I'll take out the guy worth 10, 20, 30, 40 million dollars? It's a way of saying I am the top dog. Give me what I want or you'll be in prison too. Okay, try doing that if it's all in crypto. You can seize a bank account, you can seize gold, you can seize a factory, you can seize an oil company, Yukos, you can seize Alibaba, but try seizing a bunch of crypto that someone has, stored wherever. I think that's one of the big reasons crypto is back. It's my theory. Philip Limbeek, $5, thank you. Axel Verstraeten, $5. There was a person in Vancouver that wants megaphones banned due to pastors preaching on the street. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. When you say a person, that's my one disagreement. I'd say there's probably a lot of people there. And we just saw the Toronto police want the same thing. T5 Rux Lee, $5. Are these Saturday thugs on overtime by any chance? Oh, I bet they are. Braden Clock, $5. If a ruler hearkened to lies, all his servants are wicked. Proverbs 29:12, thepreaching.com. All right. Brackathor, $5. I hate to say it, but the reason cops don't put their hands on Antifa leaders is because they know if they do, they'll get murdered by the mob. I disagree with that. I don't think the police are really afraid of anyone. I think it's political. They're not afraid of being murdered by Antifa. At least not in Canada. I think it's just the mayor has made it clear. Antifa and Black Lives Matter. Police, your job is to literally take a knee, bend the knee, get down on one knee. Anti-lockdown grandma holding a communist sign, arrest her. I think it's a political decision. It's not a murder threat. Jack R, $5. Why are we referring to this insanity as COVID or lockdown rules when we should be calling it by the real virus name Justin Trudeau rules every time? Well, because while some of the rules are written by Justin Trudeau, many of them are written by premiers, mayors, and public health officers at the province and city level. That's why. Noble Canadian, $38.13. Any news on the constitutional challenges? My thanks to Rebel, you guys keep me sane through this ordeal. Ezra, although I'm older than you, your calm demeanor. Am I calm? I'm famous. People say, Ezra, if there's two things that come to mind, you're polite, you're calm, and you're a bit of a fitness model. When are we going to see some more Instagram pics of you doing the fitness? And you know my joke, you know my fitness joke. I'm sorry you're going to hear it again. I think you might have heard this one once before. I'm into fitness. A fitness slice of pizza in my mouth. I thank you. Your calm demeanor makes me want to call you Papa Ezra. Your team is awesome, Justin. All right. Trent Poole, $20. Love Rebel. Had to make a music video of Rebel and Adam Skelly. Yikes. I'm going to click on that, and what do I see? Oh, okay. It's, you know what, let's play a few bars of that. Let's play a few bars of that. Here we go. We're just loading it up. This is based on our coverage of Adam Skelly and the barbecue there. Here we go.
Hello there, we're on the air. It's Adam Shelley tonight. Tensions grow when the whistle blows and the cops put him on ice. The servers jump and the cook bumps and the fans go insane. Someone roars, Abby scores at the good old Tory game. Oh, the good old Tory game is the worst game you can name. And the worst game you can name is the good old Tory game.
You know, that's funny and it's catchy. And I miss that song. I haven't heard that in a while. Oh my God, Fried Cake 7, $100. Well, thank you. I didn't see that come in till now. That's pretty friendly. Thank you so much. Ray W, 5 British pounds. Fang must really love her country, or the CCP have her real husband in jail. Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't joke. Who knows what they're doing to her and her family that would cause her to be a prostitute for communist China. I mean, the farting congressman is one thing, but imagine being assigned to that mayor of Fremont. As Jesse Kelly says, she must love her country very, very much, or at least, as you suggest, maybe they have something terrible over. Maybe she's got children back in China and they say, you know, entrap that fat mayor of Fremont or we take your children away. I mean, there could be something terrible. We don't know. Nana Buster, $7. Everyone should call Canadian Tire head office and tell them they'll be boycotted for what they've done. I want to know a little bit more. You're referring to a shocking video of someone being choked and handcuffed by security. I want to know what happened right before that, because what we saw was absolutely outrageous, but I want to see what immediately preceded that before I join your conclusion. SA, $14. Always look for mice reasons: money, ideology, compromise, ego. Okay, yeah, that's a great little Mnemonic. M-N-E-M-O. How do you spell mnemonic? Let me practice. M-N-E-M-O-N-I-C. Can you Google it? Mnemonic. I think it's one of those words that has M-N at the front. Mnemonic. Is that right? Boom. Still got it. Still got it. Mnemonic. Mice. Money, ideology, compromise, ego. Trudeau's driven by ideology and ego, maybe money, but he fits the profile of a psychopathic narcissist tyrant more. Money, ideology, compromise. Like, I mean, let me put it this way. All the media had his blackface pictures, right? They just weren't publishing them. It was only when I think it was Time or Newsweek published them that they all said, oh, well, I guess we should publish ours now. Because you'll remember when that Time magazine piece came out, within hours, you had CBC and Global and others publishing the photos that they clearly didn't just find. They were sitting on them. So I put it to you that if the CBC and Global had these photos, do you doubt the Chinese Communist Party did too? Either that they found themselves, or do you doubt that the Chinese Communist Party hacks the CBC and Global to find out what the news is hours or days before they publish? I mean, seriously, the Chinese government can pretty much hack anything, right? In fact, a lot of what we save on the cloud is in China. The VPN, you know what a VPN is? It's a way of getting around certain internet restrictions. For example, there's certain videos you can't watch in Canada for licensing or copyright reasons, and your browser is detected as Canadian. You can hop on a VPN. What does that stand for? Virtual something network. I forget. But you can, virtual private network. Thank you. So you download a VPN on your phone or your laptop, and there's a lot of free versions out there, and it just sort of fakes out the internet, so traffic thinks it's getting to you through some other place. Like, for example, I was in London in the before times, and it wouldn't let me watch a Canadian show that I had paid for in Canada. I don't know if it was Netflix or something. They said, this is not available in your country. I was in London, so I downloaded a VPN, and I pretended, like I set it to make it look like I was in Canada. So there I was in London watching something that I couldn't see because it was back in Canada. That's a VPN. All right, well, are all the VPNs Chinese? Yeah, I think so. Either officially or that's where their computer gadgetry is. And it's not a conspiracy theory to say that the Chinese government has access to all that, because it's actually the law. It's explicitly the law in China that you must give Chinese security full access all the time to, if you're a Chinese company, TikTok, for example. It just is. It just is. So, do you doubt that the People's Liberation Army, is it Unit 318? Can you Google PLA Unit 318? I'm going from memory here. Like, they have various hacking agencies. Do you doubt that one of the things that they do is spy on the CBC, CTV, Global, National Post, Globe and Mail, so they can get the news before it's published? So do you doubt that they're reading the emails of Canadian reporters? Do you doubt they're listening into conversations, WhatsApp conversations and things like that? Did I get... Yeah. Okay, maybe I've misremembered the number. Anyways, it's like the People's Liberation Army, that's the name of the Chinese military. They have a huge cyber warfare unit. So my point is, anything that a journalist knows about Trudeau, the PLA probably knows. That's what it is. 61. Thank you. How am I going to remember that number? You know, I'm not going to call that another Biden moment. Look, I remembered how to spell. I remembered how to spell mnemonic. Put that on the screen to show people what we're talking about. It's the People's Liberation Army. It's really an address. There we go. I said 613, right? It was 61398. Did I have the number, the first numbers right? 318. Okay. You know what? I'm going to forgive myself for not remembering 61398. PLA Unit 61398, also known as Apartment 1, Comment Crew, Comment Panda, GIF 89A, and Byzantine Candor, is the military unit cover designator of a People's Liberation Army Advanced Persistent Threat Unit that has been alleged to be a source of Chinese computer hacking attacks. The unit is stationed in Pudong, Shanghai. Scroll down. Are there any pictures of the building or something there? No. All right. Well, my memory wasn't terrible. That's basically the hacking unit of the PLA, right? 61398. All right. Let's see if I can remember that. Because it's very important I remember that. So yeah, you don't think the PLA unit 61398 knows everything every journalist knows about Trudeau? You don't think they're hacking, his wife's emails trying to grift? You don't think they're hacking his mom's emails trying to grift? You don't think the PLA 61398 knows all, his brother? You know what? And it's in my book, China Virus. His brother, Alexandre, literally published a book about China through the Chinese government. So anyone can write about a book about China. I did. But I published my book through Rebel News, and we published it on Amazon. Alexandre Trudeau, who was his brother's policy advisor in his leadership campaign, published a book on China through the Chinese government. They paid him. So imagine, I don't know how much he got paid. Yeah, Barbarian Lost, Travels in the New China. That was published by China. They paid him to write this propaganda piece. And it's not even about the book. It's about Trudeau's brother works for the government of China, and he works for them as a propagandist. That family is completely focused on money. They're always shaking down someone. So you don't think Sophie Trudeau, the gold-digging estranged wife, who was always pestering the Aga Khan, hey, can I come down to the Caribbean again? Hey, can I bring my girlfriends? Hey, can we come? Hey. You don't think the Chinese say, oh my God, we've got ourselves a live wire here. Of course they do. Donkey Paradise, $5. Can we get Adam Skelly on the Alex Jones show? Chris Sky was killing it with Jones the other day, and so have you, Ezra. You guys are heroes, no joke. Well, I mean, Alex Jones has great chase producers. I'm sure he would get Adam Skelly if he wanted. Karen Stoppel, $5. Please block CBC Newsroom in this chat. They only speak for Trudy. Rock on, Justin. Daphne Devine, $20. Ezra, you got to know the Rebel crew are literally saving our people. And Canada, the genius idea to build Fight the Fines with crowdfunding is the reason people have courage to stand against tyranny today. Our heart is real and never ending. Justin! Well, thanks, Daphne. This weekend, and I haven't, I've been in here for 48 minutes with you, so I haven't had a chance to chat with our head of video, Efrain Monsanto. But this weekend, we are sending, I think, at least 3 and maybe 4 special projects to cover Fight the Fines simultaneously, 4 different cities. 4 cities at once! We'll have news for you on Monday. Chris Lynch, $2. Just curious what video editing software y'all use. What do they call it? Adobe Premiere. Thank you. Bob, $7. Keep following the money. Who donates to the Trudeau Foundation? Who gets the big liberal contracts? Who owns the mainstream media? Canada needs Rebel. Thanks very much. Well, if you go to Canada 2020, can you go to Canada 2020? That is a sort of think tank arm of the Liberal Party. It's run by one of Justin Trudeau's longest friends, longtime friends. And if you look at the bottom of Canada 2020, I haven't been on the, scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see the logos. And you can see Enbridge and Facebook and GE and Canada Life and Shopify and Shell and Suncor and Rio Tinto. Huawei was on there recently. They must have taken it down. Do you know how to use the Wayback Machine, Justin? Do you know what I'm talking about? So slap the Wayback Machine, slap that page in the Wayback Machine, For those who don't know what I'm talking about, the Wayback Machine, I think it's called archive.org or something. It crawls the internet and sort of takes snapshots of the internet all the time. It's like it photocopies the internet. And on certain pages, it photocopies them every once in a while. So if you want to know what a website looked like a month, a year, 5 years ago, sometimes it's not a constant update, because that would just be endless amounts of terabytes, petabytes, yottabytes to save all that. But Canada 2020 is a particular page I have done this with before, because they are sponsored by Huawei. Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party in-house think tank. All the Liberals are on it. The Liberals get paid by it. It's not governed by Elections Canada. So you're a foreign influencer like Huawei. You're not actually allowed to donate to Justin Trudeau's campaign or the Liberal Party. Corporate donations are banned. Foreign donations are banned. So Huawei, or even Huawei Canada, cannot give money to Justin Trudeau. Just can't. But let's say you're vice president corporate for Huawei, and you really want some access, and you really want to make sure you don't get banned from 5G, and you really want to influence, like for example, you want to lobby to get $4.8 million in grant money that Trudeau just gave Huawei like 2 weeks ago. What do? Because you can't just, you don't want to give a bribe. You're probably not that stupid. You can't give a donation, so what do? You give it to Canada 2020. And they put your logo up as their list of sponsors. Now, they just showed you that Huawei has been removed from the list of sponsors. But Justin's looking for it now. It's a very slow website. I've used it many times before. But Justin, do keep at it, because I know for a fact, because in fact, I think we've shown that in an episode before. We'll show you that they stripped the Huawei logo off out of embarrassment, but Huawei gives money to Canada 2020. So gross. Olga, Jenny, $5. Ezra, please check your email later today. I will send you info on a very interesting patent that I found. We'll email it to you by the end of the day. Okay. Epic Cop Watch, $10. I was arrested for filming in public on a public bike path for filming a COVID test site, now going true charges now, and they're asking for so much money. And then a YouTube page, which I just clicked on, arrested for filming in public. All right, well, it's a 10-minute video, and I don't have time to watch it all now, but I do see that you have recorded it. It looks like they're searching your backpack or something. All right, I'll look at that later. Thank you for the tip. Joyful Heart, $5. Hi, Ezra. How do you disconnect from all this negative news when your workday is over? Well, not very well is the short answer. And the reason for that is I've fused my own life with the news, haven't I? Because I'm in the news business. If I was in a different business, I could separate it, but I live the same life you do. I'm frustrated by the same things you do. You are. The pandemic affects me. I can't even remember the last time I went to a restaurant. That's not the most important thing in life, but it is sort of a nice part of life. I can't remember. I just wish I could remember, but I can't because it was so long ago in the before times. It sounds like Justin's found the Huawei logo, is that right? Yeah, so this is you can see Huawei right there. From July of last year. You see, just look at the very top of that page. You see it says 01-2020. So, and do they have a particular date there? Anyway, you can see it's from 2020. So you can see, so you can see last year, Huawei was listed as one of the donors. They've since taken that down. It wasn't there, it depends on the month. Like I've seen it go up, then come down, then go up and come down. They probably have to spend extra amounts of cash to get it up now, because it would be incredibly embarrassing to take money from a Chinese Communist Party linked spy agency, which is what Huawei is. And to put that up on a Liberal Party affiliated website like Canada 2020, like, woo, that better be $1 million check to put up with that shame. Although, frankly, when was the last time a journalist told you about that? Is the CBC going to cover that? So really, there's no risk. The media party won't talk about that. The media party itself takes ads from Huawei. What am I talking about? Why would the media party care? They're in on the take also. I even saw Huawei ads on the Post-Millennial. Erebus Terra, $10. People quarantined at hotels, I assume, are not under arrest or illegally being detained. Seems like the only thing keeping people there is the impression they can't leave, which I think is by design. Oh yeah, you're right. There's so much unconstitutional going on. And the Civil Liberties Association is hitting its snooze button. The law professors of this country don't give a damn. Yeah, no one who usually is a watchman is on watch. Fried cake, $7. Hi, Ezra, Sky News Australia called the Trudeau government the most pathetic government in the history of the Five Eyes. So true. I saw that. That was Cory Bernardi, former Australian senator. I don't know if you can find that, but it was a great little clip. I've had the pleasure of meeting Cory Bernardi. He's great. Wrong Way, Fellman, 53, $5. I live in a privately owned retirement home. We have been told that we must wear a mask under threat of eviction. Can they do that? I don't believe so, because I think that violates your disability rights. If you have an exemption, it would be like saying you can't have a wheelchair or you'll be evicted. It doesn't work that way. David Anderson, $5. Where are the voices of the inmates of the COVID hotels? Are their phones being confiscated? CCP delenda est, LPC delenda est. That's a very good question. We might actually have some answers for you this weekend. Don't want to give it away. Them That Believe, Deliverance Ministry, $10. Thank you. Paul Williamson, $10. Just as Trudeau operates his caucus without allowing any opposition, he admires political systems where a leader's decisions can be implemented without any questions. Yeah, although I got to tell you, the leader who seems to be kicking out the most members these days is actually Aaron O'Toole. Tim Evans, 64, $20. COVID frauds are in full effect right now. I recently received a Walmart credit card in my name that I didn't request. Very disturbing. I don't know if that's related in any way to COVID. That could I just don't see the connection. Bracketor, $5. How do you feel about your treatment by Amazon? I deal with them a lot on ideological issues with IMDb. I consider them less woke than the rest. Look, they wouldn't answer why they banned China virus, then put it up, then banned it again, then re-unbanned it. They never explained why, other than we contradicted official sources. Well, which officials? Chinese officials? UN officials? Canadian officials? JF Laundry, $5. Why do you guys talk so much about the business and social media platform that are trying to destroy us? Why do we talk so much about it? Well, you just gave one reason why. Another is that's how we're coming to now. I mean, YouTube is a social media platform, and we are there at their whim. They could kill us in a second if they wanted to, as they have done to so many others. Hugh Prendergast, $7. Thank you. Silver is real money, $7. Hugs over masks signs available tomorrow noon to 1 p.m. at Yonge and Finch. Okay, thank you. Philippe Brevard, $20. Hey Ezra, we have a scheduled protest in Quebec next March 7th, Sunday at the Quebec Parliament. We are thousands of parents trying to have kids' sports restarted. Would be awesome to see you guys there. Well, you know what? I believe that, because the largest anti-lockdown rallies in Canada have been in Quebec. Hey, Justin, can you go to rebelnews.com/careers? Philippe, we don't have a big footprint in Quebec, and there's obvious reasons for that, but I'd like to change that. So a few weeks ago, I put up a help wanted ad at rebelnews.com/careers, and one of those is for a Montreal-based reporter. Now, I know Montreal and Quebec City are different, but we could send a Montreal reporter. If you want to click on that, it says hiring. Montreal-based reporter. Yeah, go ahead and click. Rebel News is seeking a Montreal-based journalist capable of providing news, commentary, and activism in relation to its editorial objectives. The primary medium, blah, blah, blah. At minimum, conversational French is required. Pitch daily stories, scrum politicians, write web front, blah, blah, blah. So you don't have to be a journalism grad. Just a knowledge of Canada and Quebec, ability to multitask, detail-oriented, work independently. History in visual communications is an asset. A good command of French is necessary. You need to follow French language media. So you don't need to be a journalist by training. You can be a journalist in doing it. So we're looking for someone in Montreal. Had a couple of people apply, but no one who I wanted to hire just yet. But I would love that because there's a lot of news going on in Quebec that we're not covering sufficiently. I see it's 1 p.m. Let me hurry up. But hey, Justin, can you flip that note to Efron and Sheila, and we'll think about who we send there. There's so much going on, but I do like the idea of covering. I mean, Quebec City is such a beautiful city, anyways. I would be very interested in that because I think they had a march in Montreal that had over 10,000 people, which would make it by far the largest march in Canada. Madam Dreamweaver, $5. The receipts for these vaccines say they were ordered in 2017, but that is before the hoopla of COVID. Okay, I don't know what you're referring to. Jack R, $5 to Justin's tentacles reach provincial leaders and healthcare workers, enticing all to join the new global reset. Live with the rich or struggle with the poor. Well, listen, the Liberal Party is dominant in all of Atlantic Canada and federally. And example I use all the time, if you're a lawyer and you want to be a judge, even if you're in Calgary or Edmonton, you donate to the Liberal Party. In fact, especially if you're in Edmonton or Calgary, because the federal judges are appointed by the feds, like the Court of Queen's Bench judges, Court of Appeal, Supreme Court. So there's a lot of ways, Senate, so there's a lot of ways that the Liberals are in power, not only federally and in Atlantic and other places where they're strong on the ground, but even in places you wouldn't expect them to have influence. Paul Burkholder, $5. Ezra, I saw that digital news subscriptions are tax deductible when I was doing my taxes. Yeah, I don't know if we apply for that because they would never grant us that status. I could be wrong, but I'll look into it. Them That Believe, Deliverance Ministry, $10. I can't shop in my hometown. I was angrily threatened with police. I complained to head office and was told they train employees. They don't honor mask exemptions. Rural people can't get essential goods. Well, thank you for that note, and that's a good one to end on. For the past few days, I've been working with our staff lawyer and the rest of our team to set up a new website specifically to help people who are not getting their mask exemptions honored. And I think we might be ready as soon as, I don't think we're going to announce it today, but I want to review it today. I think we could be ready to launch it on Monday. It's a special legal help site for masks. As you know, we help people who get tickets, right? That's fightthefines.com. We set up a French language version of that, contesterlescontroversions.com, if my accent's acceptable. I just wrote a script that we're translating into a third language. I won't tell you which language. Just now you'll get a chuckle out of it when you hear me deliver it. We have an iwillopen.com site. That's for businesses that are opening. We have an opensaskatchewan.com. That's our constitutional challenge in that province. And, let's see if we can do it on Monday. I hope to announce another website to help people whose mask exemptions are not being honored. So we've got a lot going on. Last Super Chat, Epic Cop Watch, $5. The original link was, but the one I sent you before was my new car wash channel. This is the original link of that video. All right, I don't quite understand that. Thanks for being here today. Thanks for all the Super Chats. We didn't get through a lot of things here. We got through a few of them. I do want to show you something that I think is very dumb, but that obviously was approved by dozens, if not hundreds of people, including students and parents. And I want to show you, this is from Wenatchee, if I'm saying that right. It's a high school band. Those are individual pods. They're in little bizarre cages. And then there's a kind of a tuba called a sousaphone. Look at that guy, that poor schlep in pod number 8. Look at the paragraph there. It's amazing the level of energy in the building, having adults interacting with kids, but also the conversations of adults to adults, said Wenatchee Principal Eric Anderson. You get kids back in the building, you get a lot of smiles, even with masks on. You can tell people are happy. I mean, look at that guy. He's so happy. I'm so happy to be in my pod with my tuba. I'm just really happy, guys. And I'm going to live in a pod, and I'm going to eat bugs. And I'm a double masker. I know I should be a triple masker. And I'm just happy, and the principal knows I'm happy, and I told the principal I'm happy. All right? How many people must have approved that? How many parents, politicians, bureaucrats, teachers, students, but mainly the parents? Where's your head at? Where's your head at? All right. Last super chat. Catch 22, $2.79. Thank you very much. I'm going to go. Got lots of work to do. Thanks for being with me today. We got a lot of news that we're going to cover this weekend. Oh, we got one last one. Let me just read that one. Better days ahead, I promise. From Catch 22. All right, well, you promise. You and what army? I look at Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida. I see him fighting for normalcy and really digging into it and really leaning into it and really saying, you've got two paths, two choices. You got your lockdown states, California, New York. You got your free states, Florida. There are others. Which one's doing better? And he points out that by all measures, Florida is doing better than the average state and better than most states, even though it has a very large seniors population. Florida is doing better, and so he's not tiptoeing around it. He's really leading in vaccines too, for those who want, but he's not saying, as so many politicians are, that vaccines are mandatory and you need a vaccine passport. I think Florida is now the leading state in the union. You know, it's hard to believe, and you might not even believe me when I say this, but there was a time, and maybe you can Google this, Justin, there was a time when the best paying city in America, what do you think the best paying city in America is today? The place to go if you want to earn the most. You might say New York City or Silicon Valley, but in terms of purchasing power, right? So you're living in Manhattan, you're making a fair bit of money, but you're spending Manhattan prices. The answer to the question today, I do not know. But would you believe me, Justin, that about 100 years ago, 80 years ago, 70 years ago, the city in the United States that paid the highest average wage was Detroit, Michigan. Would you believe that? Because all the car companies were there, and all the factories and all the assembly lines, and this was when cars were taken off in America. And you know, Motown, the Motor City, Detroit, it became a cultural center. It was give me a headline proving my point about Detroit having the highest industrial wage in America. Because when you think of that now, you think that's impossible. And it was a great state, a great city, Detroit, great state, Michigan, in which to be black. It was great economically, great commercially, great culturally. What destroyed that? Don't tell me Japanese imports, because that's not the proximate cause. The proximate cause is 40 years of Democrat politics and union politics. There are still millions of cars made in America. It's just a lot fewer of them are made in Detroit. Great cities can come and go. Great cities can be made and destroyed. They're destroying New York City right now. They're destroying Los Angeles right now. You can't kill a great city overnight, but you can do so over time. Ask Detroit. Can you give me an image, if you can't find that, can you give me an image of the Grand Central Terminal in Detroit? I want to show you this amazing, beautiful building. If I recall, it's in that sort of Gothic style or Art Deco style. It's abandoned. Like, how could you possibly even abandon such a mighty thing? Like, I mean, Grand Central Terminal in New York, Union Station in Toronto. Look at that stunning building. That's the Grand Central Terminal, Michigan Central, right? That is like, that's abandoned. That was the center. It's like something out of Planet of the Apes, right? Like that. Look at that. Look at the inside, covered in signs and graffiti. Click on that other one. Yeah, look at that. That is a gorgeous, stunning place that should be beautiful, like your Grand Central Terminal in New York, or Union Station in Toronto, or a different line on the Paris or Moscow subways. It is abandoned. Oh my God. What happened? How could that be so abandoned? Well, cities rise and fall the same way as states and countries do. They're absolutely killing New York and LA. I do believe that they're killing Toronto. They're killing Toronto. And so if you're saying, oh no, we're fine. Really? Look at that gorgeous, 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 shut down, abandoned. How even? There are houses in Detroit you can buy, and you might not believe this, I tell you it's true. You can buy them for $20. What? A house? Yeah. Same in Baltimore. I've seen it with my eyes. Kimberly Glaser gave me a tour of Baltimore because they are completely dilapidated, absolutely uninhabitable, in absolutely desolated and abandoned parts of town, overrun with garbage, rats sometimes, plants are growing in the trees, drug addicts use them for shelter. They just want someone to take the property. That's what can happen to a great city and to a great state. I tell you that Detroit was the leading city of America for a period of time. So was LA, California, the age of air travel, the age of aviation. Florida has decided they are going to be great. New York, LA have decided they're not, and Toronto has decided they're not. Toronto has decided that they love the lockdown. So when you say better days ahead, I promise, I'm sure that a series of Detroit mayors have said that too. Hasn't happened. I think Florida is the place. Boy, it's lucky that DeSantis, he beat the Democrat there by only about 1%. What an incredible difference that made. All right, it's 1:13. I'm going to go. Thanks, everybody, for your support. Justin, thanks for your great work. And everybody have a good weekend. We have a dog video today? Okay, we'll end with a dog video. Here we go.